Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of City Skylines, where I've been working a fair bit off camera to complete a fair number of things. So you might notice that the population has gone up a fair bit. I have got a few more areas down here which I redid recently, and I've got, well, just a lot more money than I used to. So as I said, I've been working off camera. I've got myself the ring road now fully complete, so cars can now use their infinite speed limits to go all the way around if they so desire. Now over here in this new this new population area, I have reworked it a little bit to make sure the ring road didn't disrupt anything. It's a little bit more flat, and I'm thinking that instead of having my industrial area all up here and having the trucks and everything go every which direction, I think it might be good to have a small industrial area right over here. So if I just zone all of, no, not like that. If I just zone all of this correctly, this might be a little bit harder than it looks. There we go. Something like that should work quite nicely for this new industrial this new industrial area. So something like that should work pretty well, I think. But overall, I'm just going to try and get to half my target today, so 250,000 people, and see if that works pretty well. Now, in order to get the 250,000 or so people, I'm just going to be gradually and slowly adding more areas to population. So you can see here I've got a fair bit of people space here and here, so I'm going to slowly do that and build that up. But the other thing I'm going to be doing over time is reworking the bus network. So over here, you can see I've got a couple of bus networks which really don't serve their purpose. I've only got about 500 or so people riding it per week, and especially in this area I think it needs a little bit more reworking. So you can see here there's not a single bus route through here, there's nothing in here. So overall I think it might be good if I had a couple of bus routes leading into these metro stations, just to try and get people off the roads a little bit more. It's my thought anyway. So I'm gonna have to delete the bus routes, I think, to get them going again. But yeah, it's just a little bit of thinking again as usual to get this all going. A little bit more on the bus route. If we just look at our various routes, we can see here that I've got 4 buses, but not a lot of the places just aren't that busy. We go again to another bus route over, where's another bus route? Over here. I'd expect this one to be a little bit more fuller, and it is, especially since there's a bus station there. So that one's a little bit better, but yes, yeah, because it goes around to places a little bit easier, we might need to work a little bit on that one. And our third square over here, with 8 buses, it's a lot quieter. So realistically, what we do need to see is buses. Buses from our train stations across the city a little bit more. So not trying to get people off the road and into their buses, but also using the train. So it needs to be a support system between the trains, or the metros, and the buses. So we definitely need one in here, supporting this train station over here, and this train station over here somewhere, and same one through here. So there's going to be a fair bit of work. I think the best thing to do might be to just get rid of all the bus routes and start again. So this might be a fair bit of unhappiness going through the city, but never mind that, we can work on it. So what I want to see is, I want to see around 10,000 people, 20,000 people using the public transport at some point. So that might require a little bit more effort than we will see. Alright, do we have a bus depot somewhere? We've got one there. Probably should got one there, we've got one next to the train station there. We probably should put another one somewhere around here in order to spread out the load a little bit more. Let's see. Let's get one. Don't want it on the main road. Let's get one over here. That should work. So, bus stations, let's get going. I think one of the things I'm going to try is having this new road around here, which is essentially a 3-lane road, but instead of having 3 lanes each way, it's a 2 lanes each way plus a bus line, which should work a little bit better for some of these ones. So it may get rid of a lot of the parking, I think, but we may solve some of our issues. So if I just make all of these bus lane types, and then, so I want that one to come along to here. So this may reduce the amount of traffic I'm getting through here. To that one, and so that's all linked up, I think. So that should hopefully reduce a bit of the traffic that's going to come through here. So that's just going to be a loop. Now where's my buses? My buses are here, and there's a couple of lines through there. So that should take a lot of the traffic off here. I'm trying to think, do I do this outer link loop as well? And I'm thinking yes. So if I do that, come up through here, do these ones as well, and there. So this will be a bit of a prototype for the amount of buses I'm going to try through here. So let's just get started. We're going to put a bus line there and continue on around some of these areas just to try and get an idea. This is going to take a little bit more effort than I thought, because I do want to go both ways. So this would be a rather large bus loop, I think. So let's just get this in. It took a couple of tries, but I think I've got the bus loop. So I didn't put it on the outside of these roads because that shouldn't be needed for the time being. So it's basically just trying to get people in this area across to these two loops. So I'm going to make that one bus loop number 1. I'm going to change the bus to, I think one of those. I'm not sure how many people can carry. I might need to check that in this one. So it is buses. Here, the Daewoo can carry 30, which is not what I want. That's 30 people. The double-decker is 110, and this is 50. So I do want the double-decker buses, because they can carry the most people. So, double-decker bus. It's not the best-looking one. 27 stops. So let's let that one loose, and we'll probably see how many buses it goes up to for the time being. But I shouldn't imagine that we're going to need... How many buses? I shouldn't imagine we're going to need 14 buses yet. We'll see. I'm expecting a fair bit of passengers on these lines, mainly from these 2 train lines. We'll see what happens anyway. The bus routes are slowly starting to take shape, but there are certainly stations that are going to be needing a lot of buses. Like you can see here, this is 289 right outside the metro. And I do have a number of buses which are slowly making their way through the loop. You can see here there's a lot of passengers as well. So this is going to take a little while to filter through. But overall, I'm getting pretty happy with the way this is starting to take shape. We're already nearly as many passengers as we had before our changes, and we've only had 2 bus lanes put in. So this is going to go pretty well. So I'm going to continue work on this mostly off camera as I continue to go up with the number of people. So a little update as well with the number of population, which we're trying to, as we said, we're trying to get to 250,000, and we've lost some 3,000. So I'm really hoping that over the next little while that this is going to slowly increase. Now, this bus lane route here is probably going to be the most troublesome, simply because of the way it's designed. This isn't the best looking one in the world, and just so many people are off the main grid, so we might need to do a little bit of reworking of this area as well. So this is going pretty well. Let's continue on with our bus lines. As I continue this massive bus expansion, I've noticed that I'm actually losing now 1,000 people per week, I think it is. And that's mainly because as I go through all of these things, I'm actually losing a lot of the people that I worked so hard to build up. So hopefully it's just a temporary loss and they start moving back in. But yeah, this is the price of progress. I probably should have actually put in all the bus lines first, but yeah, that's going to be a little bit of an annoyance later on if I'm going to lose heaps and heaps of people. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully at least the public transport system will be a lot better once I finish this up. A fair bit of time later, about 20 minutes or so, I've gotten myself a fair bit more transport going. So I've got myself, I think it's 11 different lines all the way through here, and of course it's going to be probably another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, another 14 or so more lines yet to go just in this area. So 14 lines for possibly 150,000 people in this area is probably about right, I'm thinking. because I'm doing it roughly in each square, but they all bypass one of the train stations, so some of them are rather busy. If I go over to line 104, you can see that this station is very busy, but eventually it is going to be a little bit better, since you can see that bus just picked up 90 people or so. So it should go pretty well. Most of the stations there are pretty empty, but it is of course this one around the hub here that is pretty busy. So I'm still relying on the metro to do most of the heavy lifting, but we can... Wait a second, we can see there that one is doing nothing, which is weird. This one thankfully is still doing something, but why is this one doing no one? That is weird. I don't think that should be right. I might delete that line since it's not doing anything, and re-establish the line. No, like that. From there, and just keep it going through the line, because that one's a bit weird. That's the one that's supposed to be carrying a lot of my people north-south. And if it's not doing anything, then that's a little bit concerning. But hopefully with this addition, it should carry people. I'm going to only put a couple of lines on, and then a couple of them on. So new metro, it is middle metro. Its line color is white, and it needs to have those 600 passenger ones. I'm going to keep an eye on that, because that might be a problem if it's not taking on passengers. So now what I've done is I have gotten all the bus lines in here that I can possibly fit, or possibly would work well. I'm also going to change the colors of the buses, because trying to figure out which each one of them were is just a little bit hard. The colors don't matter so much, just as long as they're separate. So if I'm trying to go here, I can tell there's a yellow line here, there's a red line there, there's a blue line there. They're all separate. So that's going to do the same over here. So this one can be cyan. No, let's make it a yellow. No, a yellow's there, so I need to change that one. Green would be okay, light blue can be there. If I change this one to a deep red, that will work. Then this one can be a darkish green. Or okay, maybe not a darkish green because I've got a lime green up there, but a darkish brown maybe, like that. So just different colors. And what it also does is, I need to change that one as well. And what it also does is, because I've got a custom bus at the moment, it does change the colors of the bus ever so slightly. If I can find one, we can see there. I'm not sure if we can zoom in any further. Might let that bus come out a little bit, and then we should be able to see. So something like that. Yeah, that's the other way around. I need to zoom in just a little bit. We can see the tops of the buses are magenta there, or purple, and over here there is a yellow one, so that just differentiates the bus just a tiny bit. So I suppose our citizens would also be able to tell that such and such a number bus is that color, which would help a tiny bit. What we've also got is buses being the second most used public transport, and if I can get this one going, it should help our metros to remain in number one. For some reason, yeah, there's our intercity buses, our metros are still there. This one is still chugging along, taking our passengers a long distance ways, so it is still working very, very well. Looking at the bus lines as well, there's still a couple of lines which are over full in a couple of places. We can see with this lime green line, there's 3 stations in a row which are completely full, and the buses are hitting them full, which might mean, yeah, the buses are reasonably spread out, which is good. So that might mean I need to add a couple more. Let's go to 25 and see how we go. This red line over here is another example. They're still trying to spread themselves out, but we can see here there's 400 passengers at this first one, which is interesting. I'm not quite sure why there's 400 there, but the rest of them are reasonably empty. So I'm hoping that Oh, there's a couple there as well. I'm hoping as the buses spread themselves out a little bit more, that these numbers will go down. You can see there, that one station here is pretty full. The station here is pretty full. So it is interesting to see how these things go. Each of these bus depots are carrying a lot of the buses as well. There's 56 in that bus. This one has 34. This one over here is carrying everything from the south, from around here to here. So I do need to put another bus depot in, and that's carrying 106. So another bus depot around here is probably warranted, now that I think about it. So if we, let's see, something like that should do. And then I'll extend the bus lane roads across just a tiny fraction, like that, and that should do. Traffic lights, I don't want traffic lights. Get rid of that. If there's traffic lights, yes there are. So yes, the industrial district is starting to work pretty well. It does need a few bits and bots here to go through and change up, but overall I think is working well. And there we go. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the way the buses are going. We've now got about 3,400 passengers per week, and I'm adjusting my microphone. Hopefully there isn't too many sounds coming in through. There we go. So we've still got the problem of this line here not doing passengers. I have removed it for the time being. So what I might do is at some point I might save and come out and then come back in to see if that does anything. Fire there, so we're just going to plump a new fire station right there, and hopefully that does something about it. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. So the buses are going pretty well. There's still a few places in which it needs a few more people. Like this one, I've added a few more buses, and they're all slowly going to take up that slack around the 300. This one here, the 5 extra buses I put on have caught up, and they should eventually take care of the 400 as well. So overall, this is working pretty well, and the people should be getting around their city a lot more instead of walking or driving, which is definitely the aim. And hopefully they're not using multiple buses to get to here, which is hopefully better. But this one here is still doing roughly about the same number of people, to 1,000 passengers a week. And this one here is still doing 1,300, which is a bit down because of the line that's missing. And this one here, 4,500, which is about right. So yeah, overall, it's working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with the way the buses are going. So I might need to do some around through here as well to capture more people. Same with here, and same with here, and same with here. So buses are going to be the big thing. So what I've done with the coding is that it's going to be just count up alphanumerically. I think over here I've done just by 1. Everything here is either 100 or 200, and they're just counting up. So when I get to here, it'll probably be the 300, and counting up from 0 or 1, and over here it'll be the same. So overall, I've got a sort of counting system, but it is going to work hopefully pretty well. I have a suspicion that because of the way I've linked up these lines, like every single one of these lines, I think the blue line, the green line, the red line, the purple line, all of them, they all connect this line in here, what I've called Mitchell left, to what is Mitchell right. And so they're finding it easier to use, or finding it quicker to use this line to get up and use the bus across, which doesn't, to me, make too much sense. Because even from here to here, there's no direct path. From here to here, for instance, there's no direct path. Or they can use the bus. But from here to here, they take there. So I can understand it with individual stations, but I do want to do a couple more tests. I want to see if it's the line or something else that's the problem, because that is really a concern if they're not using that line. It is going to throw my metro systems out of whack if that's not working. But continuing on with the buses, I know I just did an update on the buses in the last clip, but overall it's working pretty well. This one, the 400 has just disappeared. This one over here, we are slowly getting rid of the 300. There's a few relatively empty buses, so the next 4 should empty out that 400 there very quickly. So I don't think I need more buses. We're now up to 3,500, nearly 3,600 passengers per bus, per week, which definitely makes this the most well used, or the second most used public transport system, which definitely means that as I get this done over here with buses and Carpenter's Hill and possibly Aspen River, all of those with buses should make the buses the number one transport network instead of my metros, which is slowly decreasing for some reason. Definitely it is. This line is still going big, and I have had to add a couple more trains. I think on this one I might add another one there because of the extra demand. If it's coping with what's supposed to take 2 lines, then it will need another train. But overall, I'm just keeping an eye on things. Now, on the population front, I have dipped down to about 2,000. No, let me start again. Dipped down to about 224,000, but I am slowly growing the population over here and over here. It's slowly mushrooming to a much bigger stance. Might actually, don't want to make that people, but I don't want to make that the commercial, because commercial really needs to go on the side streets. So I think if I get rid of some of this and some of that, I can make this high density commercial, and that should solve a little bit more of our problem. And hopefully these buses over here, which were running pretty empty along some of these roads, should start filling up. However, I've now got a new problem going on at the moment, and that is once again traffic. So I've got a little slip lane here for trucks to come off, but they all seem to be coming through here, and then coming back into here. So there, and of course that's taking all the cars and trucks coming from either side of the east-west road, coming into here or going round into here. So there's only two ways in, this road and this road, but there's 4 2 ways out, and there's this road here and this road here, this one is actually working pretty well. So I'm thinking I might need a couple more ways to get in. That's simpler, and it may mean run here. I'm thinking maybe just a small slip lane, if I can find it. A small slip lane from here to here should help fix up some of the problems anyway, and hopefully the cars don't go off and then back on. As a short update, I did put a new cargo station in here in the attempt to try and get some of these trucks to start using the cargo station as well, which is hooked into both this train over here as well as the main line. So it is able to come up to here and all my other bits as well. It is able to export, which I hope they don't, but that is something that should be able to help with the significant cargo trouble that I have. Yeah, looking at this thing, it's going to require a little bit more work than just a few slip roads here and there to try and get the traffic. You can see here, just on this bit, this one slip lane is having to take everything from here and everything from here. There's a lot of trash trucks for some reason, so that's something that's going to have to be fixed. What are those? It's some intercity buses for some reason are coming along this side, which is weird. They shouldn't be doing that, I don't think. But anyway, so I'm going to keep expanding the city. We're up to 235,000, so we should be getting close to our 250,000 target for today. I've also gone through and put in all of the bus roads in every single one of these 2-way roads each way, so that should help a fair bit. So the population is growing, our traffic is also growing, and we should be good. If we look at our public transport, we can see we're up to a good 13,000. The metro seems to have gone down a fair bit from the 6,000 it was earlier, but the buses are definitely carrying a lot of the cargo, or a lot of the people that we need. So I'm going to keep working on this as well to get it going, and I'm going to see if the log off and log on thing I did overnight has done anything to fix up this particular line that is a trouble. While I'm waiting for the city to grow a little bit more, I've come down to the very bottom left of the map because I'm trying a little bit of an experiment. I did see something recently where someone put a canal, well, it doesn't have to be to the edge of the map, but just a canal like this, going from a water source block, which is where these things are, and I think this could do pretty well. So what I'm thinking here is moving my entire water production down to here. It might take a little bit of effort to see if this will actually work for the starters, but it shouldn't take too long for me to figure it out. So if I just keep all of those for the time being, one side, we won't bother connecting it to the grid the water grid for the time being, but we will need to connect it to power, which thankfully shouldn't take too much of an effort. If I just do something like this, and across the highway to there, that should do quite nicely, I think. So hopefully that will take up, and then I'll connect all of them eventually, and see if that actually does something. If that sucks up too much water, then this won't be a solution. But it doesn't take all the water, then I should be able to put a few more water pipes like this and connect this by the main way into the city. So this will be just a side project which I will complete mostly off camera. Well, while I was doing all this water moving, I moved all of the water treatment plants away from this area, which I now need to get rid of these things as well. But while I was moving that, I've actually gone past 250,000 people, so that is exactly half of the target I am hoping to get through this series. So that is going to bring today's episode to an end after I get rid of a few more things. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. I am probably going to be reducing the frequency in which I do these things. It'll probably go down to 1 a week instead of 2 a week, just because I am slowing down the amount of stuff I'm doing with this thing. It is slowly becoming a little bit less... it's not less important, it's just... it's moving down, and I don't have as many things to do in the thing per week. I do need to remember to actually connect everything up. But yes, that it is going to become a weekly thing instead of a bi-weekly thing. So hopefully you will join me when those things happen. Till then, I shall see you later, and see you in the next one. Bye!